Welcome back. Welcome back. We are here previewing the Dallas Mavericks versus Minnesota Timberwolves Western Conference Finals series. Going to be a good one. Going to be interesting because these teams played 4 times this season, but they never ended up playing after the trade deadline with how the Mavs look currently. So it's going to be interesting. We haven't really seen these two teams kind of match up. You can get a basic idea based on the size and everything with the T-Wolves that you would expect them to control the glass, but we're going to get all into it. Moving forward, but we'll go from talking about just the series as a whole, matchups to look out for, and then end with our predictions about how the series will go and how many games and who's the winner. But what's your initial read on this series? Like, who do you think has the advantage? Who do you think should be favored? That kind of thing.
Look, man, rare occurrence. Looking at the past matchups isn't going to do anything. This is a whole new squad. Dallas is also rolling right now. We did a Dallas video a couple of months ago. Matt was talking nonsense. I was talking accurately. And we basically, I don't even remember the video, to be honest. I was
okay.
But what we basically said, like, this is an entirely different team. This is the way that the team should be built around Luka and Kyrie. They didn't have this previously, and we've been waiting Luka's whole career to get this kind of team built around him, whatever. So going off past matchups is not going to do it for me. I really think this is a spectacular Mavs team. I've spoken very highly of them towards after the trade deadline. They were my lock for the Western Conference Finals, so I'm glad to see them here. I think this is going to be a dogfight of a series. It's a toss-up, personally, just because of the Wolves. I hate just saying, like, oh, the Wolves are a great defensive team, because that's such, like, a basic, like, casual take, because they are.
It is, but
it's more of an every single level type of defensive team where, like, it's not just like, oh, yeah, they have good defenders. It's like, all right, they have 2 phenomenal guard defenders. They have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's also proven himself to be a great defender. They have great interior defense. They have great scheming. So not like just a casual, like, oh, the Wolves are so good on defense, the Mavs aren't going to be able to score. It's like schemed in every particular way against whatever team they're playing. And then, like we mentioned last night, the Mavs are also a fantastic defensive team.
They've been unbelievable.
They've been great. They funnel really well. They hedge, and then they push down. And Lively and Gafford, they have both been phenomenal down there. So, like, and also shout out PJ. PJ's been great. But it's such a tossed-up series. Like, for me, I've had a really firm grasp on who I thought would win each series so far. This one's a little bit of a toss-up for me. So I'll let you kind of get going, and then maybe you can help me pick a side here.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm still torn. Like, I have no clue. Like, if you ask me to put money down, I don't know. Like, I really don't. I would have to look a lot more into it. But for me, it's Dallas's defense is overlooked by most people around, like, that watch either this or just ESPN. Like, all these people are underrating how good Dallas's defense actually has been in the past series or two. And, like, honestly, just for the last few months, like, that's how good this defense has been. But, like, if you just look in their games with the Thunder, 105, 101, 96, 100, 104, 92, 117, 116. Like, it's just these games are all very low scoring for a team that you would think is going to put up a ton of points on both sides. So for all the people that are expecting 120 to 121 games in this series, I think you're just sadly mistaken. This is a defensive series, as crazy as it sounds, with having Luka and Kyrie. And, like, if you go down the names on the roster of Dallas, they're not the Nickeil Alexander-Walkers, Shaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert's, Anthony Edwards. They're not those guys, but they're defending almost as well. I think obviously the Wolves defense is better, but, like, the Mavericks are being able to do what they want defensively, and it's leading to some offense that I think is leaving a little bit to be desired, but I also think that's the same thing on the Wolves side.
Well, Luke has been playing good defense, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back.
As good as you can get from him.
Yeah, if you look back at the Mavs Clippers series, they hunted them 17 times in one game, one-on-one, and they scored 2 baskets. Like, that's elite level defense, whether you like it or not. And I know it's Luka, I know he's slow, and I know he's banged up, but he's putting in the effort, which is what you want to see. But for me, the key part of this series is because I think both teams are going to be able to eventually get to what they want. I think games 1 and 2 are going to be a lot of feeling out, and just the better team and whatever is going to win. But once the adjustments come in games 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, I think that's where we're really going to see the shift. But initially, my initial feel is whoever wins the rebounding battle. And you would like to think that that leans in Minnesota's favor, which I do too. But Dallas has been really, really good at
Oh, yeah,
rebounding.
rebound the ball well.
It was also against one of the worst rebounding teams in the Thunder. However, if Gaffert and Lively and PJ and Luca can all crash the glass, they have to every possession because this team for the T Wolves hunts for O boards. If you watched any part of that second half yesterday in Game 7 versus the Nuggets, every single time there was 2, 3 guys crashing from the weak side, from the baseline, doesn't matter. So if you want to beat this Minnesota team, you are going to have to get second chance points. It's non-negotiable. That's what you have to do. And the other thing is, with every great defense team, you have to hit the open look. If you get by chance a swing, they're blitzing Luka Doncic, and you swing it twice, and now you have an open three in the corner for Derek Jones Jr. or Josh Green or Tim Hardaway or whoever the hell is in the game for the Mavs. Those have to be cash. And you're going to have to make some tough ones, obviously, but the ones that are wide open are going to have to fall.
No, I feel the same way about the Wolves, though.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. But I just think the Wolves have a lot more of an easier opportunity to get second chance points and putbacks just because of their sheer size. I know Lively and Gafford are big, but PJ Washington's not that big. And they consistently have 2 bigs on the floor at all times for the T-Wolves, like 2 7-footers. So you're going to have to really box and you're going to have to eliminate the second chance points because Minnesota's going to be able to get them.
With it being a defensive series, I feel like that in turn means it's going to come down to who's going to score and who's going to be able to break through earlier and more often. So, like, in the Mavs case, Kyrie's going to have a big series. PJ's going to have a big series. Derek Jones is going to have a big series, playing his role, not scoring 30, but he's going to have a big series. And then in the Wolves case, you're going to need a big series from, you're going to need 1 or 2 good games scoring wise, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You're going to need a couple good games from Jaden McDaniels. And it's going to have to get his 25, whatever it is. And what I think it really comes down to is it's going to have to be a big cat series.
There you go. That's where I was going to go. It has to be.
It all, at the end of the day, like, he's going to be the X factor for them. And it's obviously a tremendous player, but like, to have the 2-headed snake is what makes them so deadly. And last night was a good example against the Nuggets. He stepped up, played a great game. He didn't shoot well from 3, but like
the looks that he took were good looks.
Yeah, great looks. You're not a robot. You're not going to make everything. So
yeah, no, I definitely think Cat's the X factor. Also, you can kind of throw Naz Reid in there too. Whoever's playing the 4 for the Wolves at any given point, where they're getting guarded by a much smaller guy like a PJ Washington or Derek Jones Jr. or something like that, where you can just go and post or attack and stuff like that, and you can shoot over the top. Like, those are the big things for the Wolves to me. And going back to your Kyrie point, Ant's already said he's guarding Kyrie. So, like,
yeah.
You know that Kyrie's going to have his work cut out for him, but he also has to make Ant work. I know he's only 22, so it doesn't actually really mean anything compared to, like, if you did it against a veteran. But, like, you have to make Ant exert as much energy as possible on the defensive end. Like, that's what Jamal Murray was doing this in Game 7, and Ant didn't have his best shooting night. He shot 6 of 24 in Game 7. So, like, if you can get him to exert himself as much as possible, and I thought he did a great job on Jamal Murray, no doubt. But offensively on the other end, you're forcing the other guys to beat you, which I'm a fan of. I'm not letting my best player. I'm not letting your best player beat me. That's just how I would coach it. I'm not letting him go for 45 while the other guys are all juiced up because my best player is hitting everything. I want
with the way they're so evenly stacked and the way that we're talking about it, it's making me think it's going to come down to, not particularly, but like a big factor will be it coming down to coaching. And the adjustments that were made in that Nuggets series are really impressive for me. And Mike Malone was great too. Like, they went 2-2 back and forth, traded road games. Like, both of those coaches were phenomenal. And me personally, just with my experience with Jason Kidd, I know he's been doing a great job this year, and he's really good at galvanizing a group. But like, I just have absolutely zero faith in Jason Kidd.
Okay.
He's been great though. This is just me. This is just me pulling from past experiences as a Nets fan and whatever. But he seems actually to be pretty locked in with the guys, and they want to play hard for him. But actually, like, all right, we're down 20. what are we going to do about this, this, and this? I just don't know if I would put all my eggs in his basket for that.
That's fair. I would probably give the edge to Chris Finch, and the Wolves, but to me, I feel like Jason Kidd has got it figured out with this group now.
He's got a good. He's galvanizing the guys.
My biggest thing is I've said this a while ago. I think I've said it on here. For the Mavericks, I always thought that they needed a big. Like when you think of when the Rockets were really good with James Harden, it was always with a Clint Capella or Dwight Howard, not when they went small. I thought they were good when they went small, but it wasn't sustainable over the course of a long time because you had to just consistently be able to knock down threes, and you saw what happened in that game 7. But for me, the Mavericks with their size could like that. I feel as though their biggest asset is when you run a pick and roll with a Lively or a Gafford, and now you have to go and play both Luka or Kyrie with the ball and the roller. So Rudy Gobert to me is going to have to do a really good job of taking up that space and minimizing it to make Luka or Kyrie have to make a split decision to either throw the lob or float it yourself or go to the hoop, whatever. That space in between, he's going to have to guard 2-on-1 a lot in this series, which I think he's more than capable of doing. But he's best when he roams. So when you put him in that intermediate spot, it could fluster him. But that's my last little point, and then we'll get into our
Wolves in 6. Changed my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I lean Wolves. In my head, I want the Mavericks to win.
They're going to be so physical with Luka.
I know. In my head, I want the Mavericks to win because I have a future on them to win it all. But
I want the Mavericks to win too. They were my pick to come out of the West, but
same here.
I just didn't expect Jay McDaniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and I mean, I expected Nas, but like their role players have just been stepping up and playing so well. Like you got to take that into account.
They have. Also, Minnesota has home court, so I mean, I like the Minnesota in 6. I kind of like them in 7 too. I think that Dallas is really good, and people are underrating how good Dallas actually is.
True.
So I like Dallas in 7. If I think it probably goes 3-2, or it goes 3-2 Minnesota after game 5, and then Dallas wins the last 2, similar to what we just saw in this last series for the Wolves. But
this is great basketball.
Yeah, going to be great basketball. Other series, not so much, but like, comment, subscribe, and peace.